nobody expected it to go this far. What started as a disturbing but focused case about Cassie's allegations against Diddy has officially exploded. And now? This isn't just another celebrity drama. This is federal courtroom chaos, hush-hush, audio evidence, and a growing list of industry giants being dragged into the mess. In just a matter of weeks, this trial has gone from whispers in the tabloids to headlines that feel ripped straight from a Hollywood thriller. Leaked summaries from insiders, silent audio playbacks that left rooms frozen, and a tidal wave of old videos resurfacing online. It's all happening at once. And the internet? It's eating it up, tearing through every detail like a digital investigation. Squad, people are nervous, big names, famous faces. Folks who've been untouchable for decades are suddenly at the center of a scandal that's growing by the day. And the wildest part? This is only the beginning. Just when everyone thought the courtroom drama had peaked, it took a dark, unexpected turn. For weeks, the prosecution laid out Cassie's story, the abuse, the freak-offs, Diddy's obsession with control. But then came something nobody was prepared for: audio evidence. Not rumors, not gossip, actual recordings, reportedly played behind closed doors, and what's being described is chilling. Court insiders say this wasn't just any tape. It allegedly features Diddy, Will Smith, and Meek Mill in a scene that's both explicit and undeniable. No phones, no cameras, just a packed courtroom brought to dead silence. One person in the room said it was the kind of quiet that only happens when something truly serious is going down. The footage shown publicly started with a silent hotel lobby video. No sound, no big reaction, but what happened behind the scenes when the audio started playing left people frozen. One insider said it was male on male, graphic, and impossible to deny. And it didn't end there. That playback opened the floodgates. Right after, new witnesses were introduced. People from inside Diddy's world, ex-employees, former artists, people who've been silent for years but are now stepping up with legal protection behind them. This wasn't just a twist. It was a nuclear moment in the case, and it's got everyone wondering what else is sitting in that courtroom that the public hasn't heard yet. After the audio bombshell, the courtroom didn't cool down. It caught fire. The prosecution dropped a second surprise, a new wave of witnesses, and these weren't random names chasing clout. These were people who knew Diddy personally, who lived in his orbit, and now they're ready to talk. Former Bad Boy Records artists, ex-staff, tour members, and house party regulars, people who were inside the machine, started stepping forward. Some hadn't spoken for years, but under legal protection, they're breaking the silence. One of the biggest shocks? Dawn Richards. Yeah, the same Dawn from Danity Kane, the girl group Diddy helped create. She took the stand, and it wasn't some vague testimony. She didn't tiptoe. She said, flat out, that Diddy did horrible things. The courtroom didn't even need gossip blogs. This came from sworn testimony. Later, cameras caught her leaving court looking drained, emotionally wrecked. No press statement, no social media spin, just raw, real exhaustion. You could see it. But it wasn't just her. Another moment hit even harder. Diddy's daughter walking out of that courtroom, pale, shaken, eyes empty. No smugness, no defiance, just complete silence. Even the paparazzi backed off. Insiders say her reaction came moments after the audio playback, which only adds weight to just how disturbing it must have been. If someone that close to Diddy left the courtroom looking like that, you can bet what was heard inside was worse than anyone imagined. When Will Smith's name came up in court, most people thought it had to be a mistake, a mix-up, but it wasn't. According to insiders, Will isn't just mentioned, he's allegedly part of the audio. That same audio that left the courtroom, in stunned silence. And once his name hit the internet, it was like a dam broke. Old clips, awkward interviews, podcast comments, all of it came rushing back. One moment that exploded online, comedian Luenell casually saying that Diddy and Will were clapping each other's cheeks. People brushed it off when she first said it. Now, everyone's replaying it in a whole new light. But it didn't stop at jokes. Will's former assistant, brother Bilal, dropped some of the wildest allegations yet. He claimed he personally witnessed Will doing explicit things with other men. No rumors, no secondhand info. He said he saw it. One detail? He allegedly walked in on Dwayne Martin bending Will over a couch like a yoga instructor. His words, not ours. Naturally, Will came out with a hard denial. I ain't nowhere near that man. I did none of that stupid shit. But the internet? It wasn't. Buying it. Within hours, people flooded Twitter and Reddit with receipts. Photos of Will and Diddy hugging at parties, laughing at award shows, toasting champagne like best friends. So now, it's not just suspicion, it's conflict. Will says it's all lies, but the images say otherwise. And if his voice is actually on those tapes, we're not talking about a PR scandal. We're talking about a complete collapse of one of Hollywood's most carefully curated careers. If you thought Will's reaction was messy, Meek Mill straight up imploded. The moment his name got dropped during the alleged freak-off tapes in court, the internet went nuts. And unlike Will, who issued a firm denial, Meek, he spiraled. No. Statement, no lawyered up calm, just tweet after tweet after tweet. Defensive, panicked, and honestly, kinda suspicious. He went from y'all trying to ruin me to stop playing with me in a matter of hours. And the more he tweeted, the more it looked like he was trying way too hard to prove nothing happened. People weren't convinced. They were curious. And the internet? It went to work. Clips resurfaced. A birthday party Diddy threw for Meek, filled with shirtless dudes by a pool, where Diddy literally calls Meek daddy on camera. Proud of you. I love you. Daddy. That clip alone became a meme overnight. Every time Meek tried to act tough online, people threw it back in his face. Daddy started trending, not as a flex, but as a punchline. Then came the older rumors, how fans used to joke that Meek was Diddy's intern or pocket puppet. People thought it was trolling. But now, those jokes feel more like clues, and there's more. One viral video showed Meek at a party with billionaire Michael Rubin, jumping around awkwardly while someone laughed in the background. The vibe? Off. Real off. The laughter didn't feel friendly. It felt mocking. So now, with no charges and no leaked audio, Meek's already losing in the court of public opinion. His over-the-top reaction only made people more convinced something's up. And this time, I'm not fruity tweets aren't gonna save him. Here's what's driving people crazy. Nobody outside the courtroom has heard the tapes. Not a single second. In a world where everything leaks, celebrity nudes, court docs, even government secrets, the fact that these alleged recordings haven't hit the internet is suspicious on a whole different level. No video, no audio, not even a blurry screenshot. And that silence? It's louder than any leak ever could be. Insiders keep whispering about what was played, male-on-male content, Diddy allegedly laughing in the background, and one quote that's haunted every headline since, a man being pounded while Diddy laughed. One claimed clip even suggested Meek and Diddy were involved in something intimate. Whether that's real or clout chasing is still up in the air, but the buzz is undeniable. So now people are asking the obvious. Why hasn't any of this leaked? Who's keeping this locked up? In the US, evidence in criminal trials is rarely hidden unless there's a legal or protective reason. And if this case is serious enough to play these tapes in court, shouldn't the public know what's actually on them? Some say it's about protecting identities. Others think the content is so explosive, it's being intentionally buried to protect the powerful people involved. Because if this stuff leaks, it won't just ruin reputations. It could collapse careers, void million-dollar deals, and expose a much larger network. And that's what really scares people. Because if Diddy, Will, and Meek are just the start, who else is on those tapes? This isn't just messy anymore, it's potentially career-ending. If the tapes are real, if the voices on them truly belong to Diddy, Will Smith, and Meek Mill, we're not talking about bad PR. We're talking about legacies crashing in real time. Let's start with Diddy. For years, he was untouchable, music mogul, fashion icon, business kingpin. But now, the same guy who built an empire on bad boy for life energy is being painted as a predator in court. Witnesses, testimonies, audio evidence, and the public, they're not giving him the benefit of the doubt this time. Will Smith already had a fragile reputation after the Oscar slap. But this? If he's actually heard doing what insiders claim, no Hollywood apology tour is fixing that. It won't be a PR crisis. It'll be a complete reputation collapse. One that no amount of charm, red table talks, or damage control can undo. And then there's Meek Mill. He hasn't been charged with anything, but the way he's reacting online, people aren't buying his innocence. The constant tweeting, the emotional outbursts, it's making him look guilty by default. The memes, the old videos, the Diddy daddy moment, it's all piling up. Because in the court of public opinion, you don't need a conviction to be canceled. Once people connect your name to something dark, you've already lost control of the narrative. And with zero transparency from officials, no one knows how bad it really is. That silence, it's only making things worse. The public wants answers, and if they don't get them soon, they'll keep digging, harder and louder than ever before. Now that the spotlight's burning hot, people are looking back, and suddenly, all the red flags feel impossible to ignore. Diddy's empire didn't just happen overnight. For decades, he was the face of hip-hop power. Flashy parties, billionaire, connections, and a near-mythical status in the industry. But underneath the glitz, there were warning signs. A lot of them. Almost every artist who left Bad Boy Records either disappeared, got buried by the industry, or came out saying they were traumatized. Look at The Trail, Danity Kane, Day 26, Loon, Aubrey O'Day. They didn't just vanish. They all had something to say about the way Diddy ran things. And Aubrey? She's been trying to sound the alarm for years. Interviews, social posts, cryptic comments, nobody listened. People brushed her off as bitter or dramatic. But now that Dawn Richards has confirmed parts of Cassie's story in court, Aubrey doesn't look crazy anymore. She looks right. Then there were the strange interviews. The odd obsession with saying pause every time a sentence sounded remotely suggestive, like he was half joking, half hiding something. It was weird then. It's eerie now. And let's not forget his need for control, signing young artists, dictating their image, pushing them into contracts they could never escape. It all felt like business, until it didn't. What we're seeing now? It's not just a fall from grace, it's a reveal. The mask is coming off and people are realizing maybe this wasn't sudden at all. Maybe we just weren't paying attention. Internet's digging deeper than ever before, and every red flag from the past is starting to look like a piece of a much bigger puzzle. This scandal isn't just wrecking reputations, it's flipping public opinion like a switch. Let's start with Will Smith. After the Oscars slap, he was already skating on thin ice. Some fans forgave him, others didn't. But this? If the allegations are true, if his voice is really on those tapes, it's not just a misstep, it's a character collapse. Even people who defended him through the Oscar drama are backing away, asking themselves if they ever really knew who Will Smith was. Then, there's Meek Mill, no charges, no confirmations, but his reaction has turned people completely against him. The non-stop tweeting, the meltdown posts, the "I'm not fruity" rants, they're not helping. In fact, they're making things worse. It's that old saying, if you're innocent, why are you sweating so hard? And that's the trap of the court of public opinion. You don't need to be guilty. You just need to be associated. Once the internet connects your name to something dark, fair, or not, the damage is done. Screenshots don't disappear. Memes don't fade. Once the narrative flips, there's no getting it back. People aren't waiting for the courts anymore. They've already decided who they believe. And as long as the tapes remain locked away, the mystery fuels the worst assumptions. So even without a verdict, even without a single leaked second of audio, these names, Diddy, Will, Meek, they're being rebranded in real time. Not as icons, not as legends, but as something far more dangerous. Untouchable men with too many secrets, and once the public feels like they've been lied to, that trust, it's gone for good. At this point, it's not just about Diddy, or Will, or Meek. People are starting to ask a much darker question. Is this part of something bigger? Because the silence around these tapes, the total blackout, it doesn't feel random. It feels controlled. In an age where courtroom audio, celebrity scandals, and even national security leaks hit the internet in hours, how has not a single second of this evidence surfaced? No grainy clip, no muffled recording, not even a leaked still image. Nothing. And that silence is getting louder. Journalists are demanding answers, legal analysts are confused, and the internet is starting to believe that someone or something is keeping this buried. Maybe it's about protecting identities, maybe the content is too graphic, or maybe it's because the people involved are just too powerful. Because if the tapes really include Diddy, Will, and Meek, and that's only the tip of the iceberg, who else is caught up in this? Who else is sitting behind that velvet curtain, hoping the spotlight never finds them? This trial stopped being about just Cassie weeks ago. It's a system unraveling, one piece at a time. And the scariest part? If this really is a network, something deeper, darker, and hidden in plain sight, we've only scratched the surface. For decades, this culture may have existed quietly, shielded by fame, money, and silence. The only reason it's cracking now is because people finally feel safe enough to speak, and federal pressure isn't so easy to ignore. But if the truth ever leaks, if those tapes hit the internet, it won't just shake careers, it could burn the entire house down. Do you think this is just a scandal or the start of a much bigger takedown? Drop your thoughts in the comments.